All right, so tell me your name and what you do.
My name is Edward Kanyandopu, and I am a human rights activist.
Okay, and a bit about your background.
I was born in Windhoek, Namibia. My mom is South African. I was brought up by my mother, a single parent, and she was in self imposed exile during apartheid. And I returned to South Africa with my mom and my younger brother at the age of 10. And we lived in Cape Town. Yeah.
Yeah, and then from there, I understand that you also went to the African Leadership Academy. So, what sort of things did you learn from there that has taken you to Carleton University now?
Well, the African Leadership Academy was a platform upon which to strengthen my activism. I learned a lot about social activism, particularly within the African context, how to create change, how to catalyze um, transformational movements. Yeah, it's been a wonderful experience. And my transition to Carlton was mainly due to the fact that I wanted to be in an environment where my needs as a young person with a disability was considered. And Carlton happened to be the most accessible university for me.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about your human rights activism, what you're leading right now in this world today.
Well, I am leading a disability liberation movement, which is very different from a disability rights movement. Um, and that is because people with disabilities have inherited a cultural, political, and intellectual world from whose making we have been excluded and in which we have only been relevant as problems. So I want to move beyond tweaking the legal frameworks. I want to deconstruct some of the political, social, economic, and cultural constructions in which we live. So the disability liberation movement is mainly about me speaking about the need for disability to be part and parcel of the global economic agenda. So not looking at disability as a charity issue, but looking at disability as an imperative social grouping, um, and looking at people with disabilities as being endowed with human capital. So I founded an initiative called GSIE. That is the Global Strategy on Inclusive Education, and it seeks to mainstream children with disabilities.
Okay, now, I mean, you've gone to Canada now and you've experienced how it is with how they treat people with disabilities. How do you compare that with Africa? What sort of challenges do we have in taking care of those that are disabled here?
Well, first of all, I think I'd like to underscore the fact that the global benchmark or yardstick for inclusion and accessibility is still relatively low. I often say it's like moving from -10 to 0, and we celebrate that 0, and that 0 has become the benchmark, as I said earlier. So Carlton has been fantastic. Canada has been fantastic because I think for the first time in my life, I know what it means to be truly liberated and independent. I go downtown in Ottawa and I'm able to access transportation, which is wonderful. And I think we don't have that
In Africa.
in Africa. And also, we're dealing with attitudinal problems as well, because people regard society regards people with disabilities as not being fully human. People with disabilities are relegated to the periphery of society. They're hidden, and there's a lot of stigma in terms of getting people with disabilities out into the community, having them integrated into social and political institutions. Um, yeah, there are multiple problems, but I think it's still disability on a global scale is still a subject matter that has yet to be adequately addressed.
Yeah. And so now you've had the opportunity to be educated here in South Africa at this leadership academy. And also in Canada, you're getting a lot of experience, a lot of exposure as to how things can be done differently. How do you hope to bring this back to Africa to sort of change the way things are done here?
Well, I'd like to position myself as a global advisor and strategist, and consult for governments, businesses, and international development agencies in terms of going about the process of, drafting policies. Because I think the lens through which we view certain issues, that manifests itself in the policy. So I think that there's a need there. So I'd like to, position myself as, being the world's foremost expert on inclusion. Um, and that's not just confined to disability, but it could be all disenfranchised segments of society. So definitely when I return to the continent, that's the role that I envision myself playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your last final words then is to all of those young entrepreneurs out there who can sort of relate to you as well. What advice do you have for them in changing Africa?
Be bold. Be very, very bold. Because, having a visionary leader is not enough if they are operating within a framework that is already rotten at its core. So we need to deconstruct everything. We need to question everything. And that requires audacity. So that's my advice. Be as audacious as you possibly can.
Yeah. Thank you very
Thank
much for
you.
this. So that's all we have for you this evening, but I do have an announcement. Next week is our season finale. It's going to be bigger than anything that you've ever seen on this show, and you can be a part of it. We're gonna have the circle cleanup that I don't know if you remember, a couple of episodes ago we did a story about circle and how, whose burden is it to clean up your environment. So we're gonna go out there, clean up the area, and educate the people there on how to go about keeping their area clean and what it means to really keep their area clean. So you can be part of that. So join us. Check on our website, thebeboldshow.com, to find out when we're going to have that event, and obviously on our facebook.com/thebeboldshow to find out more about this cleanup that's going to happen and how you can be a part of it. And that will all be in the season finale, and I'm not going to tell you what else is going to come, but trust me, it's going to be great. And at this point, I'd like to thank all my sponsors who have made this possible. Wiremex for this beautiful set that you're seeing on here. Accents and Arts for this beautiful furniture that you're seeing. Headline Salon for my hair and my makeup from So Aesthetic. Kabengo for all the jewelry that it provides for the Be Bold show. Christy Brown for this beautiful dress that you're seeing on here. I actually feel like a princess in this dress. And if you haven't noticed, this is actually detached, so you can wear it with any other thing. So Christy Brown has some of the most amazing outfits out there. Lifestyle Gallery for all the accents, flowers, little cute stuff that you see on this set. That's all I have for you. Remember, next week is the season finale, so hope to see you on the Be Bold show for the circle cleanup. And remember, be bold.